Pray it works. Hey everybody. I'm going to turn the little tunes off for a minute. I am super excited to have Tara here. She is, let me turn my phone off, one of my Bii sisters, and you know, once we bond as sisters in this community, we're sisters for life because we've experienced the same things, and I'm excited for her to share her story. I want to make sure that everybody understands, anyone that is listening now or comes back even a year from now, because this video will be uploaded. You can come and watch it anytime. Pass it on to a friend, a sister, a mother, anyone that you think needs to hear this. That we are not doctors, and please do not take our advice. Seek medical attention. We are sharing our experience. Tara's going to share hers today. And, you know, it's just what she experienced having breast implants and how they almost took her life. And it was like a slow death for her, and I can totally relate to that. And we do recommend that you seek medical advice we have surgeons on our list in the breast implant illness group by Nicole on Facebook. There's like 90,000 of us women in there now. When I joined in March, there were about 43,000. So that's how quickly it's growing. And there is a list of doctors per state that does the proper explanting. And maybe Tara can get into some of that whenever she comes on. And she's here with us on the other end. We want to take a moment of silence, though, for a minute. We did lose a sister. I didn't personally know her. I don't know that Tara did either, but she is one of our Bii sisters in the group. And we got a message on Facebook that she has passed, and it's heartbreaking. Not going to mention names, but we're going to just, in her honor, just take a moment of silence, please. Okay, we love you, sister. And Tara, and let's see if everybody can hear you first. Hopefully so.
All right. Hi, Shanna.
Hey, Tara. Hey, Blue Moon, can you hear her right now?
You out there?
I'm watching my chat on my phone because we can't get it to work on my laptop for some reason.
Technology's great, but sometimes it's confusing.
Right? Oh, for sure. But once something clicks for me, man, I'm all over it. It's fun. But then when it doesn't, I'm not happy.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm waiting to see for sure if Blue Moon can hear you. Can you hear Tara, Blue Moon? Prayers to her family. Thank you. Yes. Amen.
Yes, amen. Absolutely.
I'm still waiting on an answer there. Just hang. You can see the chat. You just told me you could, so that's great. Okay, she can hear you. All right. Yay. So I have my roll of toilet paper, girl, because I'm an emotional girl, so I might be crying with you. Anyway, I'm gonna let you start anywhere you want.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Shanna. And I didn't even know that this was possible. So to be live on YouTube is pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I guess I'll start by saying, I know you were talking about how big Nicole's group when you joined back in March when you had your explant. I joined in December of 2017, and I think they were at 35,000 women.
Okay.
So, and you read these stories about women who were there from the very beginning when there was only a couple of hundred. Right. And it's just crazy to see how it's grown and all of the women that, that are learning the truth out there about these implants. So it's pretty amazing, the community and the fact, like you said, that, once we get to know each other, we just form this bond. I imagine it's similar to, women who go through breast cancer together and different kinds of cancers. You feel that bond, right? And I know that we have a lot of sisters who have been through breast cancer, and so they've got sisters kind of little bit of everywhere,
Right. You're right about that. And I want to mention too, guys, that I tried to have it where Nicole would be visually seen on here, and Drake and I could not figure out how to get Skype into Streamlabs. So I have some great pictures of her I'm going to be sharing, so y'all just hang in there. And I pulled up, Tara just mentioned the members in the breast implant illness group. There's 91,000 members currently. So also Tara is an author of the Let Me Get This Off My Chest book. And Tara, I ordered your book. I loved it. I read it in one night. I mean, it was an easy read. It was wonderful. It kept my attention. And I passed it along. I put all my symptoms in the cover of the book on the inside, and I passed it on to a Bii, or she's probably going to be a Bii sister, but I do permanent makeup. So in my salon room, I share this a lot with anyone that's in my chair. And
that's awesome.
The book is being passed around. That's all I asked of them, to make sure someone else gets it that needs it. But
that's right.
Book, and you can buy your book on Amazon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. It's Kindle, it's paperback, and Audible. You can go on audible.com too and get it. So yeah, lots of different ways that you can read it or listen. And thanks for passing it along, because just you never know whose hand it will end up in. So that's really cool. I've had people take it to the library and, things like that. It's just really neat to see who we can reach.
Right, and I'll put a link in the description under the video after I upload it of where you can order it on Amazon. Um, so I did, like I was telling you a minute ago, I watched your interview on Beautiful Disaster, and you were talking about it was 2015 you got your implants.
Yeah, so I got my implants in 2015 after I had done 3 years of training and 2 years of bodybuilding competitions. I competed in figure competitions. And, that definitely was a challenge in my life, but it was so much fun. I had a great time doing it. But it changed my body a lot. And the one thing that I couldn't change about my body were the size of my breasts. It was the one thing that I couldn't sculpt. So, I talked to my husband about wanting implants. It was something that I had wanted for quite a while. I've always been very small chested, and I just felt as though I would feel a bit more feminine if I had a little bit more up top. And so, it was something that we discussed, and we thought about it for quite a while. We did what we thought was all the research that needed to be done to make sure I had the best doctor and the best type of implants. So, I chose my surgeon, and I chose my implants. I had textured teardrop shaped silicone implants, and they were 370 cc's. I got them in April of 2015. And they were, the doctor gave me exactly what I asked for. I didn't want anything real big. I just wanted something to be able to fill a dress or fill a shirt. And that's what I got. When I got home from surgery, I immediately, started to feel definitely fatigue. I had some acne and things like that. But, I just kind of related it to the surgery and the anesthesia and, just kind of kept telling myself, oh, this will get better, over time. And it did for a little while. And I would say for the first year, I enjoyed my implants. I certainly had, now looking back, I had symptoms of breast implant illness initially, frequent urination, the definite fatigue, and anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety in the beginning. I didn't know where that was coming from. But, in the end, I kind of related everything to my bodybuilding history, and I felt as though maybe I had messed up, my adrenals, my endocrine system, and my hormones just by all the dieting I had done and all of that. So I I just kept justifying everything. So that was the first year. The second year, I started with having the joint pain and all of the GI issues that come along with this illness.
Absolutely.
And yeah, right. Did you have that too?
Oh my God, that was one of the main things: brain fog and gut inflammation. And so in October last year, I was on. That's when I really started getting active on my YouTube channel, and I was excited to come on and tell them I found what's wrong with me. It's my gut. It's the second brain. I'm going to make kombucha, and I started learning how to make kombucha and fermented foods, and thinking that I was healing myself, and I actually kind of escalated everything. It caused my eye to swell up, rashes everywhere, and now that I found January is when I connected the dots of this year. I went to my family doctor, and the nurse there had gone to the doctor I used for her explant, and she turned me on to Nicole's group, and it all just started making sense. To me, the implants, the silicone, or excuse me, the scar tissue or the capsule that builds around our implant. I read somewhere that there's a space in between the implant and the scar tissue that's like it collects bacteria and it starts traveling in our system. And so my gut was completely, it felt like ulcers. Anytime I ate any certain foods, I couldn't eat certain foods anymore. I couldn't drink wine. So that was the first, after, of course, feeling like crap for 3 years and not feeling like a 90-year-old woman with Alzheimer's. With Alzheimer's. So the brain fog and the gut thing was for me. And what I remember too, I probably read this in your book, and then I saw it on that interview. What's amazing is when you got your implants put in, you said you woke up from surgery and you instantly knew something was wrong.
I did. I felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. and that feeling never went away.
Right.
So much to the point, like I talk about in my book, I had this dream and it was so vivid. And I remember my husband had to sleep on the couch next to me because I just wasn't well. And, I had known other people who had gotten the same surgery and they were, out partying 3 days later with their new boobs. And I was
Right.
just worn down. And, so he was sleeping on the couch next to me and I just had this awful dream where I think I was being chased or something, and it was, this animal sitting on my chest, and I woke up in a scream. I was just screaming.
Chill bumps.
Yeah. So, immediately, like I said, in retrospect, it's you look back and you go, oh my gosh, yes, that was not normal. But you all along, you just kind of tell yourself, no, it's fine, and because I had no idea that this was even a possibility, it never crossed my mind that it could be my implants that were doing this to me. For me, I had gone to my surgeon for follow-up. I think it was my month follow-up, and the surgeon had, felt the lymph nodes in my armpits, and he said, he tells the nurse to write down lymphadenopathy, and I said, what's that?
In your book. It's in your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, well, your body's having a little reaction to the foreign objects that, we've just placed inside you. And I thought, oh my God, I've never even thought about it that way. That's crazy. It was crazy that I hadn't thought about it that way. And now that I was thinking of it that way, I thought, holy cow. So driving home that day, I just remember turning to my husband and saying, wouldn't it just be my luck that if someone were going to reject a breast implant, it would be me? And we kind of laughed about it. But now I'm thinking, geez, I really did know. I had that feeling right away. And I just kind of kept suppressing it. And, so yeah, the brain fog was, I felt like I walked around and I was drunk all the time almost.
Me too. It was weird.
Yeah.
I hated it. It was a horrible feeling.
It was a horrible feeling, and then I think that fed into my anxiety because I couldn't keep a thought. I couldn't form a sentence half the time. And so that played into my anxiety because I was thinking, are people going to think that I'm stupid? Are people going to think that something's wrong with me? So, it was like this vicious circle, and every symptom just kind of piled on top of the next until you are totally drowning in sickness. And you're like you said, you feel like you're 80, 90 years old. And I have, a coworker that was sitting in the desk next to me, excuse me. And, he said to me, I feel like I'm sitting next to an 80-year-old. You're always cold. You're always in pain. You're always at the doctor. And and we laughed about it, but inside I definitely wasn't laughing because I was thinking, this just something didn't seem right. And I mean, by the third year, I started with cardiac issues, with the heart palpitations, and just the rapid heart rate. I couldn't walk up the stairs without being out of breath. And I ended up getting like silent reflux where just my throat was burning. I read a lot on Nicole's page where women are like, all of a sudden now I'm having issues with my throat and I feel like my throat's closing. I feel like I can't swallow right. I had all of that. And it's just scary because, I would say to my husband, like, I feel like I'm being poisoned. Like something is poisoning me. And, he tried to console me like, no, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be okay.
That's awesome.
Because the poor guy didn't know what else to say.
Right.
But, I would cry and I would say, I'm dying of something and I don't know what it is and no one can figure it out. And I'm scared. I was so scared. And I've had so many people, after my book came out, I had friends, who read my book and they would say to me, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there for you more. And I just, it's not their fault. It was me. I was so scared. I didn't want to talk about it because I felt like people were going to think I was absolutely nuts or some kind of hypochondriac because that's how the doctors make you feel. And, so it wasn't that they weren't there for me. It was that I wasn't really letting anybody in. I don't think that I knew how sick I was. I don't think my family really knew how sick I was until the very end. And I didn't know how to process it all, which is why I did take the time to write my story, because it was truly just a therapeutic way for me to process what had happened. I've internalized every story that I've read on Nicole's page and all of the other support groups that I belong to. And, like you said, this is an experience that it touches so many people, and then you form these bonds. You hear about women passing, you hear about women getting cancer from their implants. I had the textured implants and I was scared to death. I had itching in my breast, and I had a lot of biofilm when my doctor, who was Dr. Binowitz, I adore him, and he told me that I had a lot of biofilm inside my chest wall when my implants were taken out, and they're starting to relate biofilm to possibly ending up with the ALCL.
That's is the cancer ALCL?
The ALCL is the breast implant associated, anaplastic large cell lymphoma, and that's the cancer
With
caused
the
by the textured implants.
And you had the textured.
I had the textured.
drops,
I didn't have the allergen ones that were recently recalled. I had Sientra brand implants, and but still I had some of those same symptoms, so I was very worried. And so all of these things it's crazy to me. So
Yeah, I know. Well, let me ask you this. I know, after we have our explant, and I want to touch on that too. Remind me, Tara, on helping people to understand the difference between an en bloc, and a capsulectomy.
sure.
When you had yours removed, did they find anything in your implants like mold? I'm wondering if so, if that's what was causing you to have the silent reflux and the allergy type symptoms you were having.
Right. So, I had all the pathology done, and there's my doctor on the screen, and he's so great. So, he, like I said, he told me that, so all my pathology came back okay. I was tested for mold and, oh, goodness, forgive me. I don't remember everything they tested for, but everything came back clear. So, my gut was so sick from my breast implant illness that initially I had the antibiotics right out of surgery, but then he took me off of them. Once he found out that all my pathology came back clear, he said, I want you to come off of them because I had not only a whole host of parasites in my gut, I also had H. pylori. And so he's like, your gut it doesn't need any more antibiotics. Because my acne had gotten so bad, I was on every oral antibiotic to try to kill the acne. And every time I'd be on it, it would clear up a little bit, but every time I came off of it, it would just come back. The only thing that cleared my face was taking my implants out. And I truly believe that it was from the biofilm that was in my chest caused, because that biofilm causes P. acnes and staph infection. And when the dermatologist tested one of my blemishes, that's exactly what showed. Obviously
biofilm is the mold, right?
Biofilm is different. So the way the doctor explained it to me is, when you're walking through a lake or a river and you see the rocks there and you kind of walk on them and they feel slimy and they look green,
right?
That's biofilm. And it's a natural thing. It's something that we produce inside our bodies to essentially, it's another way to fight off a foreign object. So it's very similar to that capsule that we have.
Okay, so where is the biofilm? Is it in between the capsule and the implant, or on the outside?
I believe it's in that space like you were talking about, between the capsule and the,
That's what I was thinking, and I think that I read it somewhere on her page, and I saved it in an album, so I have to go find it. But it just, to me, made the dots connect as to why our guts were stimulated with bad bacteria.
Right.
So did you getting off the antibiotics and getting on probiotics clear all that up for you? What cleared it up?
Oh, absolutely. So I came off all antibiotics after my surgery, and I was done. First of all, I didn't take any pain meds. I mean, I was in a lot of pain before surgery. So when I came out of the explant surgery, I actually had less pain. And I just was so grateful. I did some Tylenol, but I didn't take a lot of pain meds. And so I just wanted to clear my body of everything. So I just came off of everything.
And your
And I
husband said
wasn't,
you were bouncing happy off the wall right out of explant surgery, totally different from
yes.
when you had them put in, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. We had to stay in a hotel the first night because we were about an hour and a half away from home, and the doctor wanted us to be close just in case of hematoma or any bleeding or anything. So we stayed in a hotel, and I remember, we had brought pillows and we had all this stuff so that I could just lay around, and we were going to binge watch Netflix, which we ended up doing. But prior to that, I sat at the little table that they had in the hotel room, and I'm like, all right, let's order Italian food and let's talk about what we want to do for the summer.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
was bouncing around the room like a ping pong ball, and he said to me, wait a minute, this is weird. You have more life in you now than you have had in the last 3 years. How is that even possible?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just because I could breathe again, and the anxiety was gone, and the brain fog, like it all just kind of lifted initially, and I just felt like a huge weight was lifted. Now I'm saying this, but I also want people to know it all came back because it goes in waves. Like, I think that so many women hear that girls get better right away.
Right.
It's not always pretty. The healing process is definitely an up and down process. Um, it's a rough journey, and you have to stick with it. And what worked for me was that I didn't do a lot of detoxing. I just
You did.
let my body do it naturally.
You know what? We're on the same boat. That because I read so many different things about detoxing, and I just have this I don't know, this knowing feeling in my soul that God gave us these self healing machines. He created these bodies to be self healing machines. So rather than forcing it, I'm like you. Of course I tried to be conscious of what I was eating or drinking and stuff, and back off sugars and things like that, because if we were full of candida, we really probably needed to get that out of us. But I agree with
Right.
you 100% on that, and you're right, it does take time, and I've seen where some have healed immediately, and I've seen where it does come back, and that's when you really got to have your faith, I believe, and trust your body is going to do what it's supposed to do, because it was doing that when we got them in. Immediately starts building a capsule around the implant, because it's saying, what did you just put in my body? What did you just put in this
Absolutely.
body? Um, okay, so I got sidetracked. I have detox written down, and I pulled your beautiful mother up.
My mom.
This picture makes me smile. I just kept smiling last night every time I pulled this little picture up, because I have a relationship with my mama like you. We're very close, and she's a
Yeah.
big cheerleader. I know.
Yeah, she is. My mom is so
Love
great.
it. So
She's
I
so cute. We were out to eat that day, and
don't.
I think we had just gotten the proofs of my book, and she was like literally hugging the book. She was so
Oh,
cute.
yeah, it's great. I love this picture of her.
It's so cute.
I don't mean to sidetrack us. Let's pick back up where you were talking some really good stuff, and I'm trying to write notes to go back to some questions that you're triggering. But the whole gut thing, man, that was my. And
Yes.
it is your second brain, because I did study gut health before I discovered that it was my implants causing me to be sick. But
Right, right. Yeah.
it is important to make sure it's lined out and working like it should, and of course when
Right.
you take antibiotics, it kills all the good bacteria. So you were on all kinds of antibiotics for your acne. I can't imagine how
Yes.
much worse your gut system was compared to
It
mine.
was so bad. I was
Mine was bad.
nauseous. Yeah, I was nauseous all the time. I didn't want to eat, and when I did eat, I just felt sick to my stomach.
Mhm.
Um, and I never had a normal bowel movement ever. And in probably, the second 2 years with my implants. And when I had gotten those test results back, the holistic nurse practitioner that I see, she had said to me, this is before she knew about me finding out about breast implant illness. And she said, I don't know what's going on with your gut, but it is so sick right now. And then I knew as soon as she told me that. I had already figured out about BII, and I hadn't told her yet. And so, I just burst into tears in the car, and I said, I know what's wrong with me. So, to answer your question, I think I didn't do any real detoxing. Like you said, I stuck with clean, whole foods that work for me. I did a lot of like bone broth and chicken, and I did a lot of like just red potatoes, things that I knew that my body could handle. I try to stay away from gluten and sugar specifically, or I'm sorry, dairy and sugar specifically, and I limit my gluten. And even to this day, I still do that just because it makes me feel well. And I recently had, around the 1 year mark of my explant, I recently had everything retested, and I am free of parasites and free of H. pylori now. So,
Wonderful.
like I said, I didn't do any real detoxing. Every time I tried to take any of the supplements that are recommended, and my nurse practitioner was wonderful. She even helped me out by getting me some of the things that I needed, and it was beautiful. Every time I took them, I felt even worse, and so I just like you said, I tried to listen to my body, and my body was telling me less is more.
Right.
So that's what I went with, and so far it has served me well. And still to this day, I will get the fatigue back. I have severe dry eyes from being dehydrated for 3 years. The implants, they suck all the nutrients. We're no longer able to absorb the nutrients that we're getting through our food, and like I said, I was urinating all the time. My kidneys were working overtime because my kidneys recognized the foreign object, and they were trying to flush out my system from the very beginning. From the very moment that I got those implants, I ended up going to the doctor saying, I think I'm diabetic. I can't stop peeing. And, my tests came back fine. So it, turns out now I know it was my kidneys that were like, hello, we're trying to flush out these toxins. And so, now I've just come to realize that some of these things might be permanent, like the dry eyes. I get to the point where they're just kind of like leaking at night, and it's really awful. Sometimes I look like I'm crying and I'm not, but so certainly there are things that come back, the symptoms that come back, and that's why I said the healing is up and down. It's been a little over a year for me, and I think that it takes quite a while, and we've got women like yourself who are in the teens for having their, implants, 14 years, and women who've had them 20, 30 plus years. So, this all takes time to bounce back from. And,
yes, it does.
I think we owe our bodies to be patient with them and to just treat them kindly, because, they worked really, really hard for us while we were sick, and, they did the best that they could. And so now I think we owe it to them to just kind of take it easy and listen to our bodies. And, even not to get totally off track, but I just reached out. I run a support group for our local area. So I run a support group for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New York. And I have wonderful administrators that help me out with that. And I just wrote to them today and I said, I'm taking a couple days off. I need a couple of days to just continue with my own healing, even as far along down the road as I am. I just need to take some time. And they understand, because I preach to women every day, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself. And so I need to kind of take my own advice. So I'm taking a couple of days off and just kind of, clear my head of all of this, because it takes a toll on you. And we all need to just continue to heal. And who knows when that will stop? We could be healing forever,
Yeah, and that, I did a testimony with Renee Thomas. She's in chat right now on a spiritual testimony. And I was telling her how I felt God telling me to be still. And it's funny you keep talking about your couch, because that's where I landed too, Tara. My couch became my prison for a while. And anyway, I called it my cocoon. But, I like to say, whenever, I've had a lot of ladies reach out to me privately because I've, shared my, that, hey, I had implants were making me sick on my Facebook and stuff. And so my first thing to tell them is, especially a couple of them that have gone and had explants after, I told them the doctor and everything that I used, is to surrender to healing. Just surrender to it. Even whenever I had my setback on my 6th week out of surgery, I told you I had a infection on the left breast.
Right.
Because the fluid didn't drain. And I was so upset because I was ready to get my life back and start, going again. And I just finally, every time something like that happened, I just surrendered to it. Because if we keep trying to rush things, our body's going to be conflicted, and your body's going to do what it needs to do. So I agree with you. You're right about that, So that's the best advice I can give because I see in the group a lot, people are, how soon did you go back to work? 2 weeks or whatever? I'm like, girl, I got about 2 months. Don't rush it if you don't have to. Let your body heal because you'll have setbacks. And, but anyway, I love that. And, love what you said about that part,
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see, I'm looking through my notes. You're
So
doing
I know-
great, Tara. I love everything you're telling us.
I know you mentioned that you wanted to talk about the difference between en bloc and total capsulectomy.
Yes.
Okay, so
People understand. Well, you and I know what it means, but
yeah. So my understanding is that the en bloc is when, so I know Shanna mentioned that your implant is encapsulated, so your scar tissue, grows around your implant, and we call that the capsule. And so an en bloc explant is when your implant comes in and your implant is taken out and it's still encapsulated all within your scar capsule, so that say there's a silent rupture and you don't know it, the doctor's not going to know it until he gets to that implant. He or she has the ability to take that implant out, still protected as much as possible by that capsule, and it comes out all in one piece, and then they go back into your body and they take out the rest of the capsule that might be up in your axilla area or down by your ribs, unfortunately.
that's for behind the muscle girls, I think, right?
What's that?
It seems like the ones, see, I had my implants were above the muscle. The ones that had them behind the muscle, it seems like they attached their ribs or something.
Yes, it's really painful. Mine were under the muscle, and I had to have the capsule taken out from inside, near my armpits, and also away from my ribs. And it was real painful for several months afterwards, to the point where if I had lifted up my shirt and if I arched my back and stretched, you could actually see the tightness. I don't know if it was a tendon, I don't know what it was, but it was so tight and painful. It hurt to take a deep breath for quite a while. So yeah, so I think that you're probably right. That has something to do with the fact that it was under the muscle, which is just a lovely gift.
Right? Can you see the picture on the screen?
I can.
Okay, this is not my implants, nor is it Tara's implant. I found them on the internet, but I have a picture of mine somewhere. I wouldn't have mind showing it, but I couldn't find them last night. But anyway, I just want everybody to look at the picture. The top piece is the capsule. That is the scar tissue. When you get an implant put in your body automatically reacts and says, what is this for, an object? And it's trying to protect you. And so it builds that skin capsule around that implant. So I'm assuming that this doctor here probably did a full en bloc, took the implant out and the capsule out all in one piece. And then this is typical, pictures that we see on our page. They cut the skin off and let us see the implant as well. And then sometimes when they remove the capsule, the implant's green, or this one looks like it's calcified, doesn't it, Tara?
It does. Yes, it does.
And they're
that white, yeah.
And the gummies, imagine silicone. Imagine bathtub silicone, okay? And like Tara was saying just now, if they were to cut the capsule first and remove it, what if you had a silent rupture in there? And then that silicone is all inside your body, and it's hard probably for them to get all of it out,
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to choose a doctor. We have a list of doctors on the Facebook Breast Implant Illness by Nicole page per state, and some of them now have private Facebook pages from the the ladies that have used them. And nobody's shy in the group. I mean, they're very willing to show before and after pictures and all of that. But anyway, I'm glad you touched on the en bloc, because I know a lot of people in the group, when I was all up in it, trying to find my way, were asking, what's an en bloc, and so that's really important to know. And it's also important, guys, to get the capsule completely taken out, because it has It has, what am I trying to say, Tara?
All the toxin, it holds all those toxins. Yeah.
Yes. So you'll stay sick. While I go through all that surgery and get the implant out and you leave that in there, you're going to stay sick. So that's a big thing to know.
Right. Absolutely.
And we have a list of symptoms. Go ahead, hon.
I was going to say, I actually didn't have an en bloc surgery. I had the total capsulectomy. So that's where, they took my implants out and then they went back in and got all the capsule. And I had done an interview recently with my doctor. I sat down with him and asked him a bunch of questions. And, I think that one of the reasons why they don't always do, well, first of all, it's not always possible to do an en bloc. Sometimes the scar capsule itself has already, it already has like almost like holes in it. So, sometimes that's not a complete en bloc. So sometimes it's not even possible to do it. And a lot of times, what is said is that when you do that in en bloc, sometimes they have to take healthy breast tissue as well to get everything out in one piece. So to spare some of that breast tissue, sometimes they will do a total capsulectomy rather than an en bloc surgery. And both are fine. But if there is a suspected rupture or if there's a definite rupture, you want to get them out en bloc. And but the other, total capsulectomy is safe too, because that's what I had. And as long as all that capsule comes out, you should be good.
So they removed your implant and then they took the capsule out, is what you're saying?
Correct.
They didn't do the en bloc one piece. Okay. And let's see. On your acne, I wanted to touch back on that again because you did not have that before implants, right?
So yeah, I never had like beautifully clear skin. That was just not me. So I always had a little bit of acne, which again is another reason why I kept justifying everything when the acne kept getting worse and worse, because I thought, oh gosh, starting to feel like I did when I was 16 years old. And then it just got to the point where, I mean, Shanna, it was so bad that I would have to keep ice packs on my face. It was so painful and so itchy. My face, I just wanted to scratch it off. And I couldn't wait to get home at night. I just wanted to wash my face. But even when I washed my face, because my skin was so dehydrated and dry, it would get so dry that it hurt to smile. It hurt to eat. And so I was just, my face was in constant pain all the time. And so, even to this day, I don't have completely clear skin, but when I get a little blemish, it's like a normal zit.
It's normal.
It's
we all get that,
right?
PMS time and all that. And I had rashes were my issue. Mine wasn't on my. Sometimes it was on my face in certain areas, but I would get them on my arms and my legs. And some of the times I thought, did I get into poison ivy? What was this? Haven't had any of that since I've had my explant. And
that's wonderful.
Speaking of a symptom being gone, when I woke from surgery, I woke up and I could breathe. I have shortness of breath anyway. Well, it was kind of escalated from everything, but I could breathe, and my gut inflammation was gone right when I woke up from surgery. That's all I talked about. I was like, this is amazing, So
that's awesome.
That was some good, pluses for me. And I've noticed in the group that for others also. So some of us wake up feeling things pretty instantly. Can you think of anything else that we've not touched on?
I'm trying to think. I was just looking at Renee. Renee had mentioned, she says, I'll never understand why, you're trying to detox and you're putting more stuff into your body. And, it's so funny because it's true, and that's just, like I said, it's different for everybody. Everybody heals differently. But that's what worked for me, was doing it completely just naturally and letting my body heal on its own. And, I've tried to now eliminate other toxins from, my house and things like that. And I've just tried to really start educating my daughters on, what is in certain things that we put in our body, on our body, things like that. So little by little, it wasn't like a clean house and get everything out and all the non-toxic stuff in. It's,
Mm-hmm.
baby steps. And it's learning, it's a learning process through everything. So
It
what
is,
are you
yes.
holding up a water bottle there?
Yeah, water is important. I'm like a camel. Okay, I will drink 1 bottle a day. I was walking around dehydrated, didn't even know it. So I'm started Nutrisystem. Everybody knows about it on my page because I've been telling everybody about it. Because I gained 47 pounds, girl, with the breast implant illness. The last three
Oh, yeah.
years that I was dying, I was just like you telling Tony, I'm feel like I'm dying, and I was kind of ready. I was tired of
Right.
feeling that way. But my family, of course, you don't want to think. I would never want to go that way. I want to leave my family, but I felt horrible. And anyway, so Nutrisystem. I'm not trying to give them a plug or anything. I need to lose this 47 pounds, okay? And it's working. It's working. I'm really loving it. And they require you to drink 4 bottles of water a day, girl. That's a tough thing for me, but I've been doing it, and I feel like I'm just flushing toxins out. I feel better. I'm thinking more clear, even more clear.
Yeah.
My brain fog also did go away after I had my explant, so that was one of my worst. And another thing I have a note of to touch on, and I have a picture somewhere. I'll try to find it. Is explain to everybody that it doesn't matter if it's saline or silicone. Right?
Oh, yeah, I saw you had that picture that I did with the bra with the toxic bombs.
Yes, I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I put that one together. I belong to another Facebook group, something about the FDA and, truth about the FDA. And I had gotten that picture with the bra and the bombs, and then I added the words to it. And that one kind
You
of took
made
off.
that
Everybody
picture?
really liked it. What's that?
You made that picture?
I did. Yeah, I
Okay,
made that
cool.
picture. I mean, I didn't make the bra with the bombs. I got that, but then I added the words to it. And
I love it.
someday maybe I'll get it on a, oh my gosh, what are those things on the side of the road?
A cone? A cone?
The bulletin boards, the
Oh,
big.
yeah. Okay.
So maybe someday I'll get one.
Well, I grabbed it off your page. A lot of these pictures I grabbed off your page.
Yeah, perfect.
So-
But yeah, no, silicone, saline doesn't matter. They each come with their own gifts. I think
I
that
had saline, by the way.
you had saline and I had silicone.
Okay.
Yep, I had the cohesive, gummy bear. They make them sound real cute. They call them gummy bears so that people feel like they're very sweet and innocent. Oh, yeah, Renee said billboards. Thank you, Renee.
I saw that. I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's funny. So, not brain fog. That's just because I'm tired, but
That's okay. It's been a long day.
exactly.
We're allowed
But
to have a little bit of brain fog.
so saline, a lot of our women end up with mold. I have a friend, Kelly Whitfield, and she's one of the admin on my group, and I just did a video for her, which is on my YouTube, which is so cool. It shows her, her journey, and she ended up with mast cell. So that's like when your cells go into almost overdrive from having your implants and having the infections throughout your body. It's you think of like a child with sensory overload, and they just they can't calm down. That's kind of what's happening with certain women's cells. And so she is completely allergic to mold. So she had saline implants, and one of her implants deflated inside of her, and she ended up with mold throughout her body, and now she's highly allergic to mold and perfume. And this mast cell illness is very common with women, and I don't know if it's more common with women who have had saline. I'm not sure, but the saline ones are, they tell you that saline is natural, right? It's just water, salt water, and it's going to be fine. So even if it deflates in your body, you'll be absolutely fine. But the valve that keeps that implant closed is faulty because it's not meant to be in a body that's 98 degrees. It is meant to be on a shelf that's no hotter than 70 degrees. It has a shelf life of no longer than 7 years. Women keep them in their bodies for
14.
who knows?
Hello.
Yep. 14. And so that valve starts to wear away after time, and you've got body fluids going in and the fluids from the implant coming out. And so they're mixing and they're going into the women's bloodstreams, and people are getting really sick. So I think that saline may take a little bit longer of a time to get sick, but I've seen sometimes a more lasting illness in women who have had saline implants because of the severity of the infections that are possible from them. And then silicone, like, we all know that comes with its own risks. I find that these cohesive gummy bears, I guess they're made with so many chemicals that they are making women sick pretty quickly. So women tend to only last a couple of years, maybe 10 at the most with these, because they're just making women really, really ill.
Well, and the saline bag is made out of silicone also. So
Absolutely,
they're not
right.
escaping silicone by putting saline implants in. And my nurse, when my family doctor she's the one that turned me on to Bii. Hers were completely green, and I don't remember though if hers were saline or silicone or gummy or what. But I believe she had a rupture also. But I saw a picture. The whole entire implant was green, and I know my parents, they had mold in their house one year. They had to move out for 6 months. They were so sick from it. Can you imagine living with it inside of you?
Yes.
So what are the symptoms that these women are having with mast cell?
So I think what happens is it's almost like a histamine reaction.
Okay.
So, it depends on what it's triggered by. But, for one woman I know that recently hers was triggered by actually working out and sweating. And I think she started to sweat those toxins out, and her whole face started to swell and she started to get a rash. My other friend, Kelly, who I was telling you about, she's triggered by, like I said, mold or perfume. And certain foods, there's, certain things that people definitely need to stay away from. And so they'll get the severe fatigue, the swollen face, probably I would imagine itchy. And it's almost just like a histamine reaction when you have this mast cell.
Like cheese? Anything mold type foods would cause that, you think?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. That's a good point. It might be. And I didn't ask like what they can or cannot have. I'm not sure. So, but something certainly, if you've had an explant and you're still having these episodes, I'm going to call it an episode because it's not even really a flare. It's like an episode where you really look and feel like you have your implants back in. If you're having that, definitely look up information on mast cell.
Okay. And you think, is this ever going to go away, or their body's just not fully detoxed yet?
That's a good question. I don't know. And I sure hope they don't have to live with it the rest of their lives.
Right. Hey, I just thought of something. I maybe can introduce y'all to my two friends if y'all want to hold on 2 seconds. How are you doing on time, Tara?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. I'm in my room, so I'm going to go right to my closet. I'll be right back if y'all want to keep chatting.
Perfect. What can we talk about while you're gone? We could talk about my book. Has anybody?
I wasn't that far away.
If you've read the book, make a comment, even if you're watching this not live.
Guess what this is, Tara?
What is it? Oh, your friends, your two friends.
We were going to have a funeral, and we hadn't done it yet. And I hadn't even opened this or looked at it.
You haven't?
No. Did you get yours back?
The ones that I'm holding on the cover of my book are mine.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, my God.
Oh, they came in like a container.
Yes. Oh. It's got mold in it or something going on.
Oh.
But
you should put gloves on.
You think?
I don't know.
Because I think they have to clean them before they give them back to us.
No, they do. They do have to clean them. But if it was mold, I was thinking.
Is this what you're talking about? You see that little capsule part? You called it the, what'd you call that?
Oh, the valve?
The valve. There's the valve.
Yep.
Can y'all see it good?
Yeah. So
And you're
like
talking
that
about
just kind
that
of,
wears out.
that weakens over time.
Yeah, but the liquid in here has some floaties in it.
Yes, that happens. It's so gross.
That is really disgusting. But they're kind of little, huh? They didn't feel little when I had them.
No, they're
But
pretty
anyway,
heavy, I bet.
those are my girls. We're gonna have a bonfire and throw them out. I just had never. They've been sitting in my closet. I got them back a couple of months ago. I had to go back and get them. I had to wait for them. Okay, so you were talking about your book. What were you saying about the book? Now you're making.
Oh, I was saying if anybody's watched this, if anybody's watching it and has read the book, to comment, even if they're not watching it live. I wasn't sure what to say, so.
Okay. Yuck, Renee, huh? Let me pull her book up again, guys. That way y'all can get another good look at it. Amazon, and I'm going to put a link after I upload the video, so y'all can just click on a link if y'all are interested in her book for a friend, a daughter, someone that you know that may be having these symptoms and have not connected the dots yet. That's what we're so passionate about, huh, Tara? Like,
absolutely. And I have some women who they grabbed extra copies of it and they give them to their doctors. And I had the coolest thing happen recently. I had a woman reach out to me and she said, well, I was at my annual GYN visit, and my GYN was listening to my symptoms and everything, and she said, you need to read this book, and she gave me the name of your book. So she reached out to me, and so that was really cool because I had given it to my GYN and they're in the same practice. And so she obviously shared it with the other women who are in the practice, and she told this woman about it, and it was just really cool. So it's, it's a nice way to be like, hey, I'm not the only one that is going through this. I'm not the only one that says that they're, because there's a lot of non-believers out there with the doctors. And, certainly your doctors don't have to believe you, but it's nice if we could try to educate them because, when we get sick from our implants, we're not going back to our plastic surgeon saying, oh, hey, I'm peeing all the time and I feel tired and I've got this joint pain. We're going to rheumatologists and dermatologists and all the ologists you could think of. So they're the ones that really need to be so educated on our symptoms and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. And you also have a business card that I've really enjoyed having because I've been able to hand it out. I keep it at the salon room.
Oh, thank you.
Tara and her husband. So how can people do you pass those out all the time, or what is was that something you tried or what? Because I know it gets expensive.
So I have them, and there's my hubby and I.
Oh yes,
that's Matt.
let me back up. Cute. That's precious.
He's a jokester, so I'm sure he was totally
too.
Making me laugh.
They'd probably get along real well.
Yeah, we're best friends.
That's precious.
He's my buddy.
That's great.
So I got the cards and I figured it would just make it easier, to share. So the cards have the book information on it, and then it has how you can reach me. And I just recently put my YouTube channel on the cards too, so I can send you out some more cards if you want, Shanna.
They're awesome because they list the symptoms and everything.
Yeah.
And I get someone on my table. I'm fixing to put eyebrows on. And I hear them even bring up a symptom. I'm like, let me give you this card. Or they tell me they have a friend, or, I even had one of the hairdressers at the salon said that one of her friends was having these symptoms and she turned her on to calling me. This was last week even. And so she's on it. She's in the group. And that's what I recommend first is for them to get into, here's your daughters. Did you see your daughter? Is that your daughter?
My girls.
Yeah. To get into the group and just dive in head first and don't be scared. You're going to see a few things in there that may want to scare you, but it's not, everybody in there is very positive and loving and, you just got to have faith and just dive in and want to know the truth. That's what I'm all about now. I'm like, I just want to know the truth,
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think we've hit on so many good things that I wanted people to know and that can, this is out there now. And somebody might just accidentally come across this video and it could save their life,
Absolutely. You're right.
I'm at with all of this, and I know you are too. This was this is Dr. Rogers that did my explant. He's in Katy, Texas. He was wonderful. The staff was wonderful. Yeah. And the hospital,
nice.
We got a hotel like less than 5 minutes from the hospital. You could almost walk to it. And it was about 20 minutes from his office. So anybody that watches in Texas, hit me up and I'll be happy to give you any more information. Here's Nicole's group on Facebook. She's got currently 91,000 members. I know, let's see, Tara, when you joined in 2016 or 17, there was how many? 30,000?
Yeah, 35,000 when I joined.
2017, and you had your implants put in 2015. So that's when you started connecting the dots. I had my implants I had them 14 years and didn't even realize I did because I was busy running my business for 20 years, not thinking about it. But the last 3 years is when all my symptoms really escalated. I had 95% of the symptoms on that list, including my blood work came back with my autoimmune teetering positive. So that really was like, what? And I have not retested yet. I was going to wait a year. Did your autoimmune come back positive?
No, I had started to get elevated ANA levels, I think it was, or something, but I never was diagnosed with any true autoimmune illnesses.
Okay. Look at the demon here. That's the implant demon. So your ANA did not come back positive, you're saying?
Yeah, no, it started to elevate and but it never turned into anything because that was right when I was connecting the dots and I used to joke that I had a weekly standing appointment with my doctor and just coming back for one thing after another. So I truly believe that I would have ended up with a full-blown autoimmune illness had I not connected the dots so soon. So I'm just looking here. First of all, I want to thank Renee and
good, yes.
and Blue Moon for the nice compliments on my pictures.
And Tara, I'm calling you Nicole. I haven't met Nicole yet, but you see how everybody in chat has a blue wrench?
Yes.
Okay, those are my mods, and they look out for my chat for any trolls that pop in, because this is live to anybody that wants to pop in, and every once in a while you'll get some funny person come in and say something bad,
Yes, of course. I know there's always haters.
There's Barbara. Barbara's one of my face painter friends. Anyway, you click on their name right there, their picture, and you can add them as a mod. So if you ever, I could see you getting on YouTube and doing some more on here with what you do.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I know one of them is asking, do we think it's a manufacturing defect for the implants? Because they haven't heard of anybody getting sick. And I just, what I believe, and there's people who think that everyone gets sick from their implants, and there's people who think that only some people get sick from their implants.
Right.
I don't know where I fall in there. What's that?
It's not if, it's when.
And right, they say if it's not if, it's when. So there are people who believe that it's everybody. There are people who believe that not everybody will get sick. And like I said, I go back and forth between the two. But what I think is that our genetics play a huge role in this, and I think that more research needs to be focused on our genetic makeup, because there are certain genes that we all carry that make us not detox so well. There are certain things that we were predispositioned to, and so for me, I think that our genetic makeup plays a huge role in how quickly we get sick. I'm the type of person that I can't take medication without getting at least 5 side effects from it. I'm very sensitive to everything that I take. So to me, it made perfect sense that these implants I was going to have side effects from, because I can't really put anything into my body. So what was I thinking? But so I don't think it's a manufacturing defect per se, although I don't know that there's anything safe that they could put on top of our heart and lungs that wouldn't give us an adverse reaction, because we're, you put your hip in your leg, you put a knee in your leg, but things like breast implants that are sitting so close to those vital organs, I just think that, it's a recipe for disaster. So.
Well, and I'm going to touch on that with you. I do also believe when you choose to get breast implants, they tell you you're going to want to get them replaced in about 10 years, but I don't know if they tell you because they're going to break down. Over time, I think they do start breaking down, and we start absorbing the toxins from that expiration date, possibly. And then you're right. I think it does have to do with our genetics, because just like with permanent makeup or some people might have an allergic reaction to a certain pigment. I haven't had that issue, thank goodness. But and some people are allergic to peanuts. I'm not allergic to peanuts. I could eat them all day long, but there's some people that could smell it and have a reaction. So it makes me, when I started kind of looking at tummy tucks, that they do I'm not going to use the right terminology, but they do the muscle repair, right? And they tie it together with a string, I've never had a tummy tuck, but I'm just saying I learned a little bit about them. And I'm like, that string, if I know that I had rejected these implants, why wouldn't my body reject that foreign object? So I think once it's kind of like you question if you ever want to put even a string in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, absolutely. And, and then there are medical implantable devices that are life-saving, like a pacemaker or a shunt, or, I've had hernia surgery. So I don't have the mesh, luckily, but I do have, the whatever it is that holds my belly button in. And unfortunately I have another hernia, and I might end up having surgery again down the road. But for me, that's more of a life-saving procedure, because I could actually, go septic from the hernia. If, people could die from their cardiac issues without the pacemaker. So there are medical devices out there that also save lives. But the fact that these are for our breasts, and, as sad as it is, if a woman has to suffer through a double mastectomy, her breasts ultimately are still for aesthetic reasons, because, women can survive without breasts. And as it plays a huge role. I'm not taking away from the fact that it plays a huge role on them emotionally, and that I'm sure it's not easy. But ultimately, you don't need them to live. So, I don't know. I mean, we do so much with the medical field nowadays, and hopefully they'll just continue to do research and find out who might get sick because of whatever predisposition. Maybe they'll come up with different medical devices that are a bit safer for us. I'm not really sure what will happen down the road.
Well, and you and I both have seen in our group, there are women in there that have started with breast cancer and they didn't have implants prior, but they had a mastectomy and then they had reconstructive surgery and then they had implants put in, and then they started having, symptoms and stuff. So I think I've seen also a lot of women in the group, flat is the new black. And it really is. I mean, when you start looking at the before and after pictures, the after pictures look better, and we all have kind of agreed on that. And,
yes.
Maybe we can end this with you touching on self-love, because I know you talked about that in your book, and you talked about it in your other interview, and I'm on a page with you on 100% on that. Some of us get implants for, insecure reasons. Some of us get them because we just, like me, I jumped on the bandwagon because people in my life at the time were getting them, and I just jumped on board.
Right.
And it kept on going, I kept on going, and then bam, 14 years later, I'm dying. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you can see from the pictures, I have two girls who are now 13 and 11, and Maddie and Lexi, and they, I remember when I got my implants and I thought, what am I going to tell them? And so, I told them, I said, well, when mommy had you guys, I lost my boobies, and I found a doctor who can kind of put little pads in there, and I made it sound real cute and everything. And they were little, so they were like, okay, mom, whatever. And, knowing that I had to get them taken out, I really had to sit down and talk with them. And I was totally honest with them. I said, I made a mistake. And, this journey has been a huge journey of faith for me. And I said that, I messed with the body that God gave me, that God intended me to have. And unfortunately, it's made me sick. And so I'm going to have this surgery to save my life and be the mom that I used to be. And so they've known everything. They've seen my scars. They have cleaned out my drains when I came home from the hospital. They've been here for me every step of the way, just, learning and growing and watching me grow, I had to face a lot of those insecurities about not feeling as feminine as the next person, and comparing myself to other women's bodies. So I've had to work through a lot of that. But ultimately, what I've learned is health first. Treasure your body because it is miraculous. And when your health is taken from you, nothing else matters, because without it, you're lost. So, I'm totally preaching to my girls, as they come into their teenage years and they're comparing themselves to their peers, and they're living in a filtered world on social media, and they don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Right.
I'm really just trying to teach them that, like I say in my book, you look in the mirror and that's your perfect. Everybody's perfect looks different, but you have to embrace what God gave you, and you got to love yourself for who you are. And you have to realize that your self-worth doesn't come from any body part or anything like that. It comes, from deep within, and in your soul, and what you bring to the table as a human being. So, I'm just really just trying to promote self-love with them and with anybody else that I meet, and all the women that I, kind of mentor through the explant process. Just, it's not always roses. You're not going to look in the mirror every day and love your body, and that's okay, but you can't beat yourself up. We're always our own worst enemies.
Right.
So we have to, just accept and just love ourselves as we are.
And I like what you said. I've heard you hit on this. Confidence is the new sexy.
Yeah, right.
Right on. It is. Even in the men, confidence says everything too.
Absolutely.
That's self-love. That's, and it's a journey for all of us to learn self-love,
Right.
But I think God's timing for you was great, because you've got your two daughters, and you caught them at an age before they were already there, and they've seen
Yes.
you struggle with this. And so that right there probably shut the door for them, So hopefully they're never going to even consider it. But they're very blessed to have you as their mama. I know you're a great mama. I see it. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome. And I really enjoyed this. And I couldn't be more grateful for you taking time. And you're taking time away from your family to do this. And I'm excited for you and your book. And I'm going to keep passing them cards out. And I can take picture of it with my cell phone. So don't you worry about having to print more from just me. But I think that was a neat thing you did.
Thanks. Yeah, no, but I'll send you more if you want, and people can reach out to me if they need anything.
Yeah, and I'm in the link. I'm going to also add Tara's email. I think I had your email, and she has a YouTube channel, y'all. Y'all go like her channel. She has a couple of other great interviews on her channel y'all can watch too. So let's see if they had any questions real quick. You can tell by your pictures you're feeling a lot better. Einstein's mom said. Did you hear that?
Yes, I am definitely feeling much better. I just have my life back. So yeah, thank you for noticing.
Let's see what Renee just said. I am not sure, but because I had these symptoms all of my life before implants, just had to get with the right doctor and actually be having a flare up to catch it, but not sure. I'm not sure, Renee, if you're saying you have implants and you've got symptoms and now you're connecting the dots. Hopefully, if that's the case, that we helped you there. But yeah, this is we had six. We have six in the house right now. So is there anything else that you want to say, or are you feeling good about it all?
Yeah, I think somebody's asking the YouTube. I guess my YouTube channel name is just Tara Hopko. So it's just my name.
Let me. I'll grab the link real quick. I'll go grab it right now and put it in chat, and that way they'll have it.
Okay, cool.
Let's see, yeah, it's weird how you can navigate through here and still be on.
Yes. So, yeah, I know, right? Someday I might come up with something creative for my channel, but
Oh yeah.
I work full time, and it's so hard to come up with the time to do these videos and everything. There's so much I want to do, but not a lot of time.
Hey, I get it. I had so much fun doing this because I'm a creative person, and this is creativity to me. What I did to the my little candles and stuff, but it does take time, and I worked this week as well, but it was worth it. I think it's been a blessing. So there's your link right there to your page.
Thank you so much for doing this with me and inviting me on, and it was really great to chat with you.
Thanks, Tara, and you stay in touch. I'd like to stay friends if you ever need anything, or if I can do anything for the breasties, the bestie breasties. Here, okay, and
yeah, same here. We'll definitely keep in touch. We're bonded for life. So
I know. I have a cute little outro. You don't have to hang on if you want to tell everybody bye, but I'll keep it up live. I'm going to let my little outro. It's kind of Marf talk, huh Renee? And Blue Moon and Einstein's mom. Marfugal TV is we all met in his. He does lives every night. But anyway, I guess we'll say goodbye. Y'all say goodbye.
All right, Shanna.
We love you, girl. And
yes, we love you too.
Keep being beautiful. And and if you want to hang up on the Skype, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to do my little outro. It's probably going to be about 3 minutes long. So.
All right, perfect. And thank you so much, Shanna. And we'll definitely keep in touch.
Okay, girl. Sounds awesome. Love
All
you.
right, and thanks everybody for watching. Love you.
Okay, bye, babe.
Bye.
All right, guys. Let me get some music kicking, and I got a little outro. Hang on, we're gonna start it over. Here we go. Barbara, got my crazy hairdo going today. I went to the salon and learned facials today. I need to do some shoutros. Thank you, Renee and Blue Moon, Einstein's mom, and Barbara for joining us. Y'all made it fun. I'm sorry I didn't get to look at chat a lot. I didn't want to lose concentration on what she was telling us. So I could stay on track. I'm learning it, Renee. Hey, Tara. You are so welcome. It was awesome. Thank you all who watched. That's so sweet. Here comes some sisters. Outro. I need a microphone. Here's our sisters. There's a delay. Y'all hear the music? This is like my practice. Streamlabs practice. You hear the music, Barbara? Walk by faith, y'all. Don't forget it. Oh, good. Oh, and the music came from Yomu, Free Music for Videos. I'll put his link also in the description box. I met him somewhere on YouTube. Besties / breasties. Not with breasties, because we ain't got breasties anymore. Oh, yeah, we do, but we got real ones. Isn't this neat? I'm just layering it up, telling y'all a story. Because, yes, they're real. The fake ones tried to kill me. Have your fake ones, doctor. Coming to the end, guys. Bye, Felicia. Get out of my body. I have to say, I love the candles at the bottom. I know, don't you? Love on Blue Moon? I do too. I love cozy ambiance. There went our music. And there's the end right there. That's our last one. So perfect timing. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. We've been on for an hour and 17 minutes, and that was just so heartwarming. I loved having Tara on. She's great, and y'all please go check out her channel, like her. Thanks, Tara. I'm a child at heart, really. But go check out her channel and go watch her interview with, you can actually see her. Let's see, Beautiful Disaster. Tara does an interview and they're side by side. She was able to get Skype to work for her. But it was really good. So there's more great information there. Anyway, I'm going to go have my supper with my husband and just love all of you. Touch base with me. If y'all have any questions, just drop me a note, email me. Anybody that comes in and watches this later, we're here for you. Bye, y'all.